Okay, this is Modern Bureaucracy Causes War. It's number 1. Thank you, Justin.
Sorry.
One page.
I'll read.
This is page 51
Okay.
by Richard J. Barnett.
Okay. Richard J. Barnett is a senior... Do I need...
No.
Okay. Thinkers with as different a view of the world as Sigmund Freud and Mikhail Bakunin have been struck by the fact that the role of the state is to assert a monopoly on crime. Individuals get medals, promotions, and honors by committing the same acts for the state for which they would be hanged or imprisoned in any other circumstance. If we did for ourselves what we did for our country, Cavour once observed, what rascals we should all be. The very meaning of sovereignty which states guard so jealously is the magical power to decide what is or is not a crime. The state is of course an abstraction to describe the activities of thousands of human beings organized into bureaucratic structures. There is nothing new, to be sure, about government-ordered slaughters. Since man first built cities, from the Syrians to Genghis Khan, from the Crusades to the Indian Wars, war has been an instrument of policy. No age has escaped the passion and fury of the professional killer. It is not homicide in the line of duty that is new, but the incredibly sophisticated organization of homicidal activities and techniques. The essential characteristic of bureaucratic homicide is division of labor. In general, those who plan do not kill, and those who kill do not plan. The scene is familiar. Men in blue, green, and khaki tunics, and others in 3-button business suits sit in pastel offices and plan complex operations in which thousands of distant human beings will die. The men who plan the saturation bombings, fire-free zones, defoliation, crop destruction, and assassination programs in the Vietnam War never personally killed anyone. The bureaucratization of homicide is responsible for the routine character of modern war, the absence of passion, and the efficiency of mass-produced death. The complexity and vastness of modern bureaucratic government complicates the issue of personal responsibility. At every level of government, the classical defense of the bureaucratic killer is available. I was just doing my job. The essence of bureaucratic government is emotional coolness, orderliness, implacable momentum, and a dedication to abstract principle. Each cog in the bureaucratic machine does what it's supposed to do. Should we skip that part?
No, we can talk about that.
Alright, okay.
Well, what I wrote down in my notes was that a strength was use of historical examples and quotes by famous thinkers, as you will.
I think that's the initial.
Use of famous thinkers. Yes, good.
I can't see you, Monica. Okay, so he cites many viable historical references and sources, and he creates a stereotype of the bureaucratic machine. You know, the quote, "I was just doing my job," is one we've oft heard.
What is that called? The
Mantra? No.
the something excuse, the something claim.
I don't.
There's a term for that. I was just following orders.
Well,
There's a special name that we
Well, you
call
can
it.
research it.
is it on here at all?
I don't
I don't
think so.
No. Okay.
War is a what?
Instrument of policy is just a quote from the book.
Like you can't be held accountable?
Yeah,
It's always the person above you?
yes.
Yeah.
And so he's identifying the folly of the thinking.
Wait, Julie, you said the stereotype of what?
Another
Bureaucratic
bureaucratic machine. Not in folly, though. It's more of the internal predicament when you deal with bureaucratic operations.
Paradox.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on.
Okay. That paragraph right under it, or we never read those in class?
We
I'll
didn't.
just...
Yeah, we read them all. We read all of them except for the power mongers.
Okay.
Because
Bureaucratic homicide is the monster child of technology and expansionism. The slow, tentative progress human beings have made in the direction of civilization has been overwhelmed by the phenomenal advances in lethal technology. Not many people today believe with the Prussian militarists of 100 years ago that war is the health of the state, and fewer dare to say so publicly. 20th century man demonstrates in law and political propaganda a sensitivity to human suffering which did not trouble 15th century man. But the modest advances in civilization have been more than wiped out by technological developments which make it possible to kill without exertion, without passion, and without guilt. The airplane enables the cool contemporary killer to set his victims on fire without ever laying eyes on them. The mass air raid and the repeated airstrike which long ago were rationalized as conventional warfare by the prophets of air power, such as Billy Mitchell and the Italian General Duhet, make destruction systematic, in a quite literal sense. Americans, along with Germans and British to a lesser degree, have been engaged in this form of bureaucratic homicide for almost 30 years since the decision in 1942 to bomb Germany into submission. A milestone was the fire raid on Tokyo in 1944, when bombs incinerated 180,000 residents of the city. Along with new developments in lethal technology have come new ideologies and organizational structures which offer absolution to honorable men when they plan homicide in behalf of the state. Bureaucracy by nature finds it easy to accept an assigned homicidal role. On January 20th, 1942, Reinhard Heydrich, the chief of the SS, called a meeting of 15 high-ranking representatives of various ministries to the lovely Berlin suburb of Wannsee to clear up the fundamental problems of getting rid of all the Jews of Europe. Plans were carefully and coolly discussed and implemented. Although there was serious discussion of the transportation problems connected with the final solution, no one questioned the project. Adolf Eichmann was a dispassionate long-range killer who, according to testimony at his trial, hated to visit the camps. His pleasure was in designing virtuoso solutions to complicated logistical problems. The psychiatrist who visited him in an Israeli jail reported that his tests revealed an insatiable killing intention, but his record suggests that he would do any job of disposal well. The bureaucratic killer looks at an assigned homicidal task as a technical operation much like any other. He does not question its moral purpose. Indeed, he's not even interested in such questions.
So, since we're writing the essay about the pros and cons of each one, can we put like a plus and minus next to all of them or something? Like how this is a good argument and how it's not? That's what I kind of wanted with the table thing, but...
So we're also evaluating rhetorical strategies, right? So we
Yes.
should be looking for those too.
Yes.
Not just, okay.
Introduce and summarize theory
Yeah.
1, the pros and cons, and the reasons for ranking it.
Okay. Well, here he is justifying, or not saying that it's permissible when you're the one committing the crime, when you commit a crime, which we already knew. And that's cited with many examples, specifically Reinhard Heydrich and Adolf Eichmann. So that's a definite plus that he was able to bring specific instances into his arguments.
It's actually, war is the instrument of policy.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's a quote.
okay. You guys don't need to all write this down because we will have it in pictures.
That's
in
true.
the film. So we can instead be,
Discussing and talking so we don't have dead air on the...
which we do at this point. Okay. So, so far, does anyone see any flaws